We are working it today with Andy Challenger of Challenger Grand Christmas, here to talk about what's happening in the labor force. Good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me back.
Now, the employment situation is fairly decent. Is that correct?
Yeah, we've had a good job market for a number of years now, but we're starting to see some signs that may be turning around. We've seen the most cuts from companies since 2009 in the first part of this year.
Are these actual cuts or announced cuts?
Announced cuts, they're happening over the past few months and going forward. At the same time, hiring's been really good, so people are still landing fast even if they do get cut.
What do you think is behind companies potentially cutting or reducing the workforce? Did they hire too much, or is there something more happening?
Yeah, some companies may be cutting in anticipation of a recession. After so many years of growth, sometimes companies do get concerned and overstaffed in some ways. But there's also a lot of mergers and acquisitions going on in the economy. So sometimes when companies combine, people do get let go.
Right, Dow Chemical is a big one. They have to reduce because of the merger that's coming up. So what do you think it would mean for employees then? What should they be doing? And I know it makes people nervous that maybe their jobs could be on the line, even though most people, I think, are feeling pretty confident about their jobs.
Yeah, never bad to get your head up and start looking around, start going out and networking, talking to people that you've worked with in the past, that you know out and within the industry, just in case something does come along in terms of changes at your company structure.
As far as those changes, are some companies maybe reducing perks that they used to give to employees?
Yeah, we do see that in one way. Companies can reduce their costs instead of letting people go. Sometimes they'll reduce salaries of a chunk of people. Sometimes they'll add certain benefits and remove salaries. It's actually a cost saver for them.
Should people be willing to take a pay cut at the job that they have now? That's a pretty dicey topic.
Yeah, not right now. It's a good enough job market where if you are offered kind of an ultimatum, worth going out and searching for another position. There's really a lot of good jobs out there today.
Are there certain sectors where you're seeing these job cut announcements coming from, or is it broader than that?
We certainly continue to see the cuts in energy and energy-related fields throughout the end of last year, throughout the beginning of this year. That's where cuts have been coming from. We've seen a lot of cuts from computer companies, Hewlett-Packard, Compaq, all these types of personal device computer companies have been making cuts just as the tech industry changes.
Yeah, there's definitely some transition going on there, and I know a lot of companies such as Twitter or some of these social media firms that maybe overhired are now reducing ranks.
Yeah, a lot of companies don't. A lot of these kind of tech-based companies don't need a lot of permanent staff, even though they're really large companies within the economy. The actual number of people they need to operate and run them is fairly small.
Well, thanks for keeping us ahead of the curve. Good to know that this is happening and going on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.